This is the Ag Engineering Podcast that rolls right into the details on tools, tips, and techniques that improve you, your farm, and our world. I'm your host, Andy Chamberlain from the University of Vermont Extension, and this podcast is sponsored by Northeast SARE. Thanks for listening. Today's episode comes to you from Southampton, New Hampshire, where I took a visit to one of the larger vegetable farms within the Northeast with Andre Cantelmo of Heron Pond Farm.
My name is Andre Cantelmo. We're here at Heron Pond Farm in Southampton, New Hampshire, where we grow 60 acres of mixed vegetables and gross between $1 million, $1.5 million a year. We have diversity in sales with wholesale, direct-to-consumer, roadside stand, farmers market, and CSA.
Andre is an importer of Terrateck equipment, which make many tools that are really awesome for small farms. If you haven't heard of them, you should check them out. However, they're out of France primarily, so getting equipment can be a bit of a challenge. So he's an importer. We start off the conversation talking a little bit about that, and then we get into, he shares what he called a top secret tool, but it is available on their website, so we can share that. We address the greens harvester, that's a walk-behind unit, as well as a greenhouse cart. So let's dive into the episode.
But then, you know, I think more and more I'm going to be importing more and more equipment because you can't find the stuff the right size for our kind of, everything's too big.
Do you have like go-to like sources? Like how do you find that stuff that's...
I find the one that I like you watch videos online, you're like, I want that. And then you like find out that no one has it in the United States. And then you call them and they're like, no, it can't be done. And then like, you know, a year later you talk them into putting it into a container for you. And then, you know, and then next thing you know, you have a relationship and then you're like, I know I could sell like 5 of these. And I'm like, you could? And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you do that. All right. Top secret. You ready? This is a prototype. Oh, it's not loaded. I'm sorry. I'm out of string. I'll show you the way it works in theory. This is based off of a design that was a tapener and you used to trellis with it, and it had plastic tapes, right?
Yeah.
This, you know how you have to put a rubber band around everything to fucking bunch?
Mm-hmm.
Feel that?
Okay, elastic string.
The elastic string goes in here, metal tab, right?
Yeah.
Metal tab goes in and puts like
A staple.
It's a D-ring.
Uh-huh.
You just make it. It makes so the first click, you pull it just like a thing, and then the second one,
So bunch beets, bunch carrots, that sort of deal.
put it in your hand, and that
that's tiny.
closes around. It clamps clamps that together. So you take your bunch. You put your bunch through here. The string is already here. You put your bunch in, clip, done. That's a bunch.
And you're not stretching rubber bands around your hands.
Yep. So they just finished this.
So how'd you get a deal with that brand?
This is Terrateck made it.
Oh, Terrateck.
Yeah, yeah. But look at the case.
Yeah,
I mean,
you
like
can
it's like
tell
my
it's,
Glock doesn't have a case like that, you know.
No, but that's one of those tools that will save you 5 seconds times 100 bunches a day.
Yeah, and so when we start making them here, because I guess I could make them there because I could put a whole lot of those in a container.
Well, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Next up, we hopped in the truck and headed up to his High Grove tunnels to check out some greenhouse carts.
Do they have them parked all in a row? Look at them. Oh, they're so cute, don't you think? So yeah, these are the carts. And for in here, you know those gray trays?
Yep.
So I mean, the maneuverability in here is awesome. We put the stack of, you start out with the stack of empty trays in the front, you build it. It's 3 trays deep this way, and then you put the empties and you build it back, and we can go 3 trays high 3 trays, 4 trays back. It's 12 trays. It's 200 and something pounds of tomatoes can be on here. I tend to have them all harvest downhill because it's on a hill. And then we load the truck at the bottom and drive it back up. Yeah.
So are these a custom built cart?
No, these are well, sort of custom built. Terrateck builds these.
Oh, it's a Terrateck product.
It's a Terrateck product. I brought them in. In a container I had other things on.
So are you selling these too?
I am, but ship it, like I can't, like only local. Like how do you ship this?
It doesn't compact very well.
We have a new cart design. I'll send you the flyer.
Okay.
And it can be made flat, and it's more versatile, and it has adjustable sides so that you can clamp onto any size container. It's got these little side rails.
Yep.
And then we have a double row, and you can go over a bed. So like you can harvest lettuces and stuff, have this over the bed and be putting the lettuces right in it.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
And it's really great for food safety because your harvest tray is off the ground.
Yes.
And believe it or not, even with the import and everything, I mean, carts, I've looked at the prices, super expensive. This cart is like $325.
And it's really durable, really well built, heavy duty. It's all pipe, which is easy to clean. You're talking food safety.
Yeah.
Compared to another, like, the garden cart that I'm picturing is like a corrugated metal, which is really hard to clean. And this is really nice. All smooth, bright yellow, easy to see.
We're doing them, they're all like on box steel now, but not corrugated.
Yeah.
I'll send you the thing.
Okay.
But yeah, so they're not welded, they're bolted, and they also slide so you can adjust the width.
Yeah.
This is nice. And we do the single wheel. This has got, for maneuverability, you can't beat the single wheel. And then having these two really firm feet, it's really like you don't have to lift it that far off the ground, so you don't think you're going to lose too much control, even when you have heavy weights. It's very convenient.
Yeah, even if you're unstable, like you said, you only have to come up an inch.
It's not heavy.
No, it really isn't. I thought it would be a lot more than that.
That front thing is just a thing of beauty. To have that stop, you know, the trays.
Oh, so it's just like a bump.
Yeah, the trays stack up against it.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Do they store upright well? Like if you were to put them in a barn?
You can nest them.
Okay. Yep.
Back and forth. Mm-hmm. They actually triple nest, so it's upside down and then right side up, sideways and then back and then up and then like so. It's actually, to get this high, you would have 3. The height of that rail, there'd be 3 stacked, and then it goes the other way.
But yeah, bulky item to ship.
Yeah, I had people wanted them. I'm like, yeah, but who's gonna ship it?
Yeah.
Can't you, here, UPS, classify that, I don't know. Anyway.
Johnny's Selected Seeds sells some Terrateck products. This is one of them, and I've actually seen it at a trade show, and it's a pretty nice tool. It's the Walk Behind Greens Harvester. Andre's got it parked in one of his equipment sheds and showed it off to me as well.
All right, so our big deal was like, well, how do we make greens worth it on a small scale, like a really small scale? I mean, we are not Pete's Greens, and we do, a few hundred pounds of greens a week. Like, if I did 1,000 pounds of greens in the week, that would be a lot. We messed around with the Quick Greens Harvester, which was the great first step. But then, your back is like you're stooped over the whole time. These are made in France, and no one carried them. And so in order to be able to buy one, I became a dealer. And the great part about becoming a dealer and collaborator is we started to help them modify it. And so like my additions to this is, it used to just be these metal flights. And so then we got these rubber flights that we added onto it. So this was a really great addition because when we get out in the field, the place where we lose greens, like I noticed this when I was up at Pete's, you know, he has that Ormec with the bandsaw.
Yep.
And there's a space between the blade head and the catch. First of all, you'll see the difference between those Ormecs that you see on the field and this is a grippy belt. So you can actually upgrade your Ormec and get this belt from Sutton Ag if you want. But we don't actually even import one of these machines without it. It's an upgrade. It's an $800 belt, but I tell you, the greens hit it and stick to it, and so they don't slide down. Oh, yeah. They don't slide back down, like you can see. I don't know if you've ever worked with harvesters and had that problem, but I've had every problem you can have. With it. So I got greedy, and I'm like, no, we don't even want to import them without it. And so yeah, there's like these. It is
grippy,
but it's an industry belt for greens. They do it all the time, and you can upgrade your Ormec if you want to with it. But then there's this problem right here between the blade and the belt. There's this space. And, you know, when particularly with the bandsaw also tends to carry greens one way. This reciprocating blade does not do that. I was like, oh, the reciprocating blade might be bad. But it actually does an amazing job and it doesn't dull out. But you still got to jump this gap. And so I adjust these so these flights are flicking just in front of the blade right here. So this winnower can come out and down, and then the flights just go right like this. And so as the greens are getting cut, these come around and
push right onto
flick the greens onto the belt, and it really minimizes loss. And then the other thing that I had a problem with this unit when we first got it is you're subject to this height, which is great if you're on raised beds. Mm-hmm. But all the Ormecs and stuff had rollers, and then you can get this head height really far down. And so now we modified it with this. There's a roller right here in back of the blade, and it's adjustable.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So then you can basically, this will ride on the bed, and then you can adjust till you're nearly hitting the ground if you want to. But you don't want to hit the dirt, but yeah, you can do that. And that's those are the two like little contributions I made to this machine. But
so is this what you're using now?
I use this now, and the other thing I did, which doesn't come standard, is I put these plugs in on my wheel motors because this is a self-propelled unit. And what happens is I can unplug these and switch the wheels, and then this wheel would be on the inside. And then I take these wheels off, and then when I'm doing my greenhouse production, I'm not running into the next bed. So I've narrowed it. That's how I've narrowed it for my indoor production. But I do this outside, and then I flick the wheels to narrow it. But in order to do that, I had to put these plugs in and they're just like standard.
So like an extension cord, essentially.
They're like twist locks I decided to go with because I wanted them to really be like
a woodworking tool.
And it's carrying 24 volt, not, so I don't know. It's not a normal like little DC thing. So, and then this is just a Tractor Supply trailer that it lives on because it's just easier to make sure that you don't have to put it on something. And on this farm, unfortunately, everything is far away from it. Everything is far away.
So I've seen they also have another one that's like drill operated, push powered.
Yeah, and that's a great like first step. They're kind of pricey. I mean, well, these are pricey too. I mean, this is like, you're looking at like, 10.5 or something.
Yeah.
By the time
that was gonna be my guess.
All said and done. But an Ormec, you know, brand new tractor mount Ormec was like 18. I think they're 20 now because everything just jumped. And then the self-propelled one like Jericho Settlers has, first of all, good luck finding one. And then second of all, if you can, those are over 20 for sure. I mean, he stole that.
Yeah, he's good at finding.
Yeah, he stole
finding
that,
good deals.
and he'll never let it go. And he shouldn't. He shouldn't. But the drill-powered one, I like if you're, and I own one. Oh, it's down in the root cellar. We've probably covered in the construction waste. I have a tarp over it, but we use that in the winter for the narrow tunnels. You burn through batteries pretty quick, and you have to be really on the sure thing. But like, I would take it over using a quick greens harvester. Yeah. Any day, because I just don't like the.
But the price of that one is what, roughly?
I think it's like $3,500.
So 3 versus 10.
Yeah. So it's you know, you can have 3 of those.
Is this like way better ergonomically?
Every way.
Yeah.
There's a shot. I mean, you could use a bag on this. That only has a bag. You can use a bag on this. You can.
Or right into the trays, you were saying.
You can go right into the trays. There's a tray dish, and you can just put the trays out, and then you could be stacking your trays. And then we, you know, bought an extra reefer truck, and I use it for the wash station. Yep. And then and acts as a spare reefer truck, but it's also like, you know, it runs on diesel, the reefer. You can shut off the truck and just run the reefer only, and it's a walk-in. And it's a big walk-in. It's like 16-foot walk-in, you know? So we can keep everything at temp. But the other thing is that, like, first thing in the morning on a hot day, I'll drive the walk-in out to the field, and I will, like, as I cut, I'll set that temperature for 32, and I'll just put those suckers right, and they're in those vented trays, stacked, and you know, you've seen the blowers on those. They like, no joke, you know? So, like, it's cooling that stuff down.
So there's an insider's look at some tools from Terrateck. If you like this style of conversation and want to hear a little bit more, check out the previous episode where we talked about growing sweet corn and pumpkins with a no-till system, and he also shares how much he likes his flail mower. So you can check out the last episode for that. Thanks for listening to today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If I can ask you or direct you to do one thing, that is to go to the website for this podcast, agengpodcast.com. That's agengpodcast.com. There you'll find the show notes. You'll find links to the farmer who we chatted with today, as well as photos or videos from the call when I visited the farm. If you've got some feedback to share, my contact information's on there, or you can leave me a voicemail, and you can do that right from the link in the description in the mobile app you're listening to this to. So go ahead and do that. Thanks again for listening, and I hope you have a great day.